Hey everyone, this is the Anime Lad, and today I'm bringing to you the classroom for heroes. Blade, the former legendary hero, decided to start fresh at Rosewood Academy after a near-death experience fighting a demon king. He's lost some of his mojo, but don't worry, he's still stronger than 90% of the population. He's hiding out at the school, pretending to be a normal student. His goal: make friends. A simple enough task, right? Wrong. Blade's first day is pure chaos as he frantically tries to befriend everyone by running around like a hyperactive golden retriever. Ernest, the school's empress, strongest student, and the person least impressed by Blade's enthusiasm. In her eyes, Blade is a total failure. Just when things can't get worse, they are called to the principal's office. And surprise, the king is the new principal. And he specifically invited Blade to train the next generation of heroes, or in Blade's case, to create more failures. Ernest is baffled. Blade is just too cool to care. Later, Blade meets Sophie, a really quiet girl who doesn't talk much, but she's definitely more interesting than Ernest, who challenges Blade to call through some super tough armor. Blade, not want to back down, casually slashes it apart with a single swing, nearly knocking Ernest's clothes off in the process. Ernest, who just wanted to call Blade trash, is suddenly considering his fan club membership. Blade then sits with Ernest during lunch, and to everyone's surprise, including Ernest, he asks her to be his friend. Ernest spends the rest of the day questioning her life choices. Later that night, we get a glimpse of Ernest's troubled relationship with her sword, Asmodeus, which is less of a weapon and more of a demonic relationship that she can't just get out of. She's been keeping it under control since she was 6, but it's been a struggle for her. Fast forward to the next day, Ernest is extra aggressive in training. Sophie backs off. Ernest challenges Blade, but before they can throw down, the sword spots hits her. Blade catches her like a true hero, and she wakes up in the infirmary, barely able to escape his kindness. Later, Blade digs into the school's database to learn about Ernest's cause. So, yup, it's a big deal, and he offers to help her with it. Ernest's backstory, she actually met Asmodeus at 6 and it's been trying to take over her life ever since. Blade, being the problem solver, is offers to help her defeat the sword and take control. After some drama-filled sword summoning, Ernest manages to hold off the demon sword with Blade's guidance. The next day, Ernest is a brand new Zen version of herself, walking through school like a calm, cool, collected hero. Everyone is staring. It's clear to them Ernest's transformation isn't just physical, it's spiritual. And maybe, just maybe, she's finally considering Blade as a friend. Blade, determined to level up his friendship skills, sets his sight on Sophie, the quirky girl who prefers punching things over wielding a sword. He offers to teach her swordmanship, but Sophie, in a weird Sophie way, thinks he's trying to boss her around. After a quick save on the narrative, they start training. Sophie starts dreaming of beating Ernest in battle, but Blade quickly drowns her. Let's not get crazy yet. Later, Blade gets the 411 from the king about Sophie's tragic backstory. Turns out Sophie was a part of a creepy government experiment to create heroes like Blade. Blade is hit with a wave of guilt because without him, Sophie's lab rat life would not have existed. He vows to teach Sophie how to live a normal life. His grand plan, a date, because that's how you fix trauma apparently. Blade, ever the smooth operator, burst into the ladies' bathroom to ask Sophie out, completely ignoring basic privacy. Armed with a guidebook on dating, as if that's going to help, Blade sets off on his mission. Meanwhile, Ernest and her gossip squad turn into full-blown spies, desperate to keep tabs on the accidental couple. They even go underwater. Dedication, check. On their date, Blade and Sophie hit a game center where they accidentally destroy a punching machine because they don't know their own strength. Naturally, they walk away like nothing happened, leaving Ernest and her crew to clean up their mess and promise the arcade the school will foot the bill. Next up, sharing a love drink. Ernest almost combusts from jealousy, while her friends drown their sorrows in parfait. The couple uses this distraction to slip away. Blade, suspecting they are being followed, suggests that they yeet themselves into the air to escape. Ernest and Co are left in the dust. By sunset, Blade and Sophie chill by the water for some real talk. Sophie reveals her big secret. She's a government-made hero with cool powers like gravity manipulation and time stopping, but only for 10 seconds because her body is a work in progress. Blade in turn drops his secret bomb. He is the great hero and the reason for those inhuman experiments. He expects Sophie to hate him, but Sophie surprises him with a pep talk straight out of a feel-good movie. Turns out people adore Blade, and Sophie is proud to be a mini version of him. With her encouragement, Blade finally stops moping about his past and vows to live his best life. They seal their new bond with a dramatic handhold, and Sophie promises to keep Blade's secrets safe. Blade's school life takes another chaotic turn when the king, in his infinite trolling wisdom, decides to bring a dragon to campus. Blade's not even faced, he knows the old son of a bitch thrives on drama. Sure enough, moments later, the ground shakes and a massive green dragon appears, glaring at the students while everyone panics. Blade saunters up to the beast, gives it a casual smack, and boom, it's nap time for the dragon. Before anyone can recover, the dragon morphs into a cute little girl named Q, who immediately declares Blade her dad. Blade dives headfirst into daddy duties, washing Q, feeding her, and tucking her in. Ernest walks in during one of these baiting sessions, and her entire life flashes before her eyes. The rumor mill nearly gets Blade kicked out of the academy, but he somehow smooths it over, probably with his usual combo of cluelessness and overpowered charm. Through some heart-to-heart chats, Blade realizes Q has been alone her entire life, and because dragon moms are the literal worst. Dragons only bond with the strongest, which explains why Q latched onto Blade. Ernest and Sophie, ever the supportive friends, have been checking in at night to make sure Blade isn't losing his mind or his life to his new daughter. Blade appreciates them, right before Q's are usually disappearing at and leads him to the roof for some stargazing therapy. The next day, Blade asks the king for permission to keep Q at the school. The king pretends to say no because why not mess with Blade a little? Q crashes the meeting, wreaks havoc, and vanishes like the chaos gremlin she is. Blade, being Blade, still doesn't realize the king and Q have some secret bond. Later, Blade discovers Q playing with dolls, not just any dolls though, miniature versions of the entire student's body. Turns out, Q's been memorizing everyone's name in her own quirky attempt to make friends. Blade feels like a failure as a dad for not noticing sooner and starts literally banging his head against the wall. Ernest intervenes and convinces him to let others help. Her plan? Beg the students to fight Q so she can lose and acknowledges them as equals. Ernest and Blade kneel before the students, pleading for them to fight Q. The student reluctantly agrees, mostly because Ernest looks terrifying, even while begging. When the showdown begins, Q goes full dragon mode, ready to test her potential friends. Meanwhile, the king is gleefully watching, secretly rooting for Ku to roast everyone. Blade is just hoping Ku will breathe fire on the king for good measure. The students are pumped and ready for battle as they surround Ku, the dragon, delivering their best hits. But surprise, surprise, the dragon scales are thicker than a TikTok influencer skin, rendering their attacks completely useless. But don't worry, Blade's got a cheaty plan up his sleeve. While the healers patch up the wounded, Sophie and Ernest deliver a powerful blow to Q, and Leonard, sneaky little guy, has dug a pit right under Q's feet. Down she goes, stuck halfway in the ground. Blake doesn't even care that this is totally unfair. He's just parenting hard, even if Q might never forgive him for it. Q tries to escape, but thanks to Sophie's gravity powers, she gets knocked back in like a dragon-shaped boomerang. Now it's Ernest's turn. With the help of the student, she powers up her sword and unleashes a fireball so big it could roast a turkey and then some more. The dust settles and the dragon is defeated, but it takes everyone working together like a superhero squad to pull it off. Q, heartbroken that she disappointed her dad, finally walks up the corridor to ask the students to be her friends. Spoiler alert, they are totally on board. Then, in true Blade fashion, he casually mentions something to Ernest that sends her running to her room for 3 days. Blade, obviously worried, heads to her room, only for his friends to unlock the door and reveal a new Ernest who's been cabbing up like she's training for a pasta eating contest. Turns out she's been stress eating since the dragon battle and has gained weight faster than a smartphone screen cracks under pressure. She's hiding from Blade because she's afraid he will judge her. Blade is ready to bolt, but his friends remind him that only him can fix this by helping her with her snack addiction. So Blade, being the supportive friend he is, decides to help Ernest lose the weight, even though he's not sure if the mission is even possible. Q gets involved, trying to beat her back into shape, and the kitchen's making special meals that hopefully just won't add to the problem. But after days of failed attempts and more food than a buffet could handle, Ernest has a genius idea. Let Asmodeus, a flaming demon sword, consume her flesh to burn the fat. Blade reluctantly agrees to go with her to the training ground, where Ernest calls upon Asmodeus for a battle against her body fat. Asmodeus is confused, but he recognizes the gravity of the situation and admits that Ernest needs 1,000,000 calories to survive. Ernest, ever the realist, wonders how many jugs it would take to burn that off. She lets Asmodeus try to consume her fat, but naturally, things go sideways and she mutates into a half demon with a tail and a new attitude. Blade steps in, using a straw technique to knock Asmodeus out and save the day. When Ernest wakes up, she's back to normal with her body intact and feeling like herself again. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief until they find Ernest eating carbs like she's trying to break a world record. Guess some things never change. Classic Ernest. Blade's day takes an awkward turn when Maria, a fellow student, approaches him with a totally normal request. Hey, can you unalive me, please? Naturally, Blade is like, what now? Maria explains that her inner demon is getting restless and she needs help controlling it before things get messy. Blade, being the kind-hearted guy who can't say no to weird requests, agrees to help. Maria leads them to a secluded spot where she removes all the seals, keeping her demonic side in check. Surprise, her inner demon isn't just your everyday grumpy alter ego. It's got the demon's king crest. Plot twist, Demon Maria, now calling herself Mao, wakes up feeling fabulous and promptly wipes the floor with everyone, leaving only Blade standing. She's surprised and is that he's still alive and tries to finish the job, but Blade isn't going down that easily. Enter Ernest, crawling over to Blade like a soldier in a war movie. She offers him Asmodeus, a snarky demon sword who reluctantly agrees to help. Armed with Asmodeus, Blade powers up for a final attack. Mal, overconfident, realizes too late that Blade is not playing around. He breaks through a barrier, takes her down in one epic blow, but then he passes out because apparently heroism is exhausting. Blade wakes up in the hospital to find out Mal's gone rogue and is parading around the academy, fully embracing her demonic side. She's now calling herself Mao full time, complete with a new gang of badasses and a bold declaration: Blade, I'm going to kill you, but first, let's go on a date. Blade reluctantly tags along as Mao reveals she's basically a 5 years old in terms of consciousness and has a lot to learn about life. Oh, and also, Maria is still in there trying to break free. Fast forward a few days, and Mao starts spilling secrets about a pendant she's wearing. Turns out it belonged to her mom and might be a recording device. The tech genius of the group, Eliza, offers to analyze it, but warns that playing the recording could make Mao disappear, leaving only Maria. Shockingly, Mao, the demon, who just threatened Blaze's life, isn't selfish. She agrees to take the risk for Maria's sake. When the recording plays, instead of a sappy message from mom, they get a vlog from the Demon King himself, talking about baby names. This triggers an internal showdown between Mao and Maria, who are basically squabbling sisters, sharing the same body. After an emotional battle, the two reach a truce and decide to coexist. Now, Blade and the gang have two roommates in one body to deal with, which is just so on brand for Blade's chaotic life. Mao and Maria might be opposites, but they are proof that even demons and humans can work things out. Blaze Day goes from weird to outright bizarre when he runs into Dion, a badass centaur general who knows his great hero secrets. Before she can blab, Blaze shut her up, only to find out she's been hired as the academy's newest instructor. Dion wastes no time flexing her skills by wiping out indestructible divine irons like their aluminium foil, leaving everyone stunned. To cover her connection to Blade, she claims they are just acquaintances, totally convincing after she nearly winks at him mid-lie. Chaos eats when two secret Seymour beds show up in town and one crashes dramatically into a wagon without hurting anyone. Ernest is ready to throw hands, but Blade calms her down, suspecting there's more to the bed tantrum than meets the eye. The duo confronts the king, who sheepishly admits he stole a Seymour egg because his clueless bed parents didn't know how to hatch it. The king's excuse is playing wingman for the beds and ensuring the egg gets a magical sunbeams per day atop a tower by tomorrow. Blade and Ernest, while fully ready to roast the king for his nonsense, agree to help. The mission kicks off the next day with a full city evacuation. This egg wagon journey to the tower is an epic battle as the furious parents bed swoop in like Federal Terminators. Who uses her dragon powers lightly so she doesn't roast the beds, and Maria unleashes her demon side by ditching her braids. Together with Sophie, and Ernest, they fend off the birds long enough to get the egg to the tower base. Here is where Dion really shines. She hoists Blade onto her center back and charges up the tower like the world's most majestic Uber. They reach the top, and the lazy king is just chilling there, having apparently decided to let everyone else undo the drama. But one bird decides to turn the finale into a boss fight, dive bombing them with all its rage. The king, ever the comic relief, gets smacked down, nearly sending the egg flying. Blade manages to save the egg, while Sophie spins the bird with gravity powers. Finally, the sun's magical ray hits the egg, which hatches into two adorable Seymour chicks. But because Blade can't catch a break, the baby birds immediately imprint on him, officially making him their new parents. The chicks bond with Blade so fast, they start flying lessons by carrying him and Ernest around like a theme park ride. Blade, exhausted but weirdly content, realizes he's added two more friends to his growing collection of weirdos. The king, ever the chaotic inventor, unveils his new virtual reality project, but is so realistic that Blade nearly needs therapy after unaliving his virtual enemies. Blade suggests turning down the realism before everyone goes bonkers, so the king tweaks it into a cartoonish anime-style battle royale. Chaos ensues as Ernest channels an inner zombie, taking everyone out in a frenzy until Blade finally emerges as the last man standing. Fed up with the king's antics, Blade sneaks up on him, plugs him into the VR world, and tells the king not to let him out until evening. The king spent hours facing terrifying monsters, dying, responding, and screaming his way through virtual purgatory, while Blade and the crew enjoy their well-deserved revenge. Meanwhile, the boys, still salty about losing to the girls, ask Blade for advice. His wisdom: train harder, you lazy bums. Boys' secret motivation: they are crushing on the girls who beat them and want to impress them. Blade offers to train them, and Ku, ever the instigator, pops in to back him up. She tells the boys that getting stronger will make the girls soon. The boys are all in. On the flip side, the girls are dealing with their own secret crushes on the boys, but have no idea how to act on them. Who, living for the drama, gives the girls the exact same advice to make the boys chase after them. While most of the girls are hesitant, Ernest is all for more training because, let's face it, she's a battle addict. When the next virtual battle rolls around, the boys are confident and ready to confess their feelings if they win. But plot twist, they lose again. Crushed or gracious, the boys congratulate the girls, only to learn the girls had backup from their entire civilization, training them to ensure victory. Ernest accidentally lets slip that there's a direct way to confess love, clearly hinting she's head over heels for Blade. Everyone picks up on it except Blade, of course, because he's as tense as a neutron star. Blade is minding his own business at the training grounds when a cute robot, Iona, shows up. Naturally, Blade's first reaction is to obliterate her with his sword technique. His friends are horrified, but Blade explains she's a guardian and they always rebuild themselves. It's practically their hobby. Sure enough, while Blade is talking, Iona reconstructs herself into a humanoid form and sits there like nothing happened. Blade tries attacking her again, but Ernest bonks him on the head and says, "Dude, she hasn't even done anything." The team chats with Iona and learns she's on a mission to gather data. Meanwhile, they also discover Blade has been sneaking off to attack Guardian bases. Blade defends himself. They are invading libraries. Okay, I was just gathering intel. Totally not my fault that they are indestructible. Later, Blade and Iona face off in an epic battle. Turns out Iona knows Blade's weakness. He's too nice to harm innocent looking girls. With this psychological warfare, she wipes the floor with him. After her victory, Iona becomes so existentially bored, having accomplished her life goals of defeating Blade, that she declares her existence pointless. Talk about winning and losing at the same time. Then Iona drops the bombshell. Mother, a creator, marked her as obsolete, and she's about to self-destruct unless she gets a new master. Reluctantly, Blade agrees, and now Iona's persona made slash robot pal. Sophie, jealous as heck, declares war on Iona. The two compete in everything from boxing matches to a who knows Blade better contest. Despite their rivalry, they end up bonding over their mutual care for Blade. Blade eavesdropping from his bed drains because his two frenemies have become actual friends. But the drama isn't over. Blade learns the self-destruct countdown never actually stopped. Iona knew but kept quiet to enjoy her last days with her friends' emotional damage. The students throw Iona a farewell party, and Sophie is the most heartbroken, mourning the loss of her new bestie. As the countdown hits zero, everyone braces for a kaboom, but nothing happens. Blaze struts in and casually drops, "Oh yeah, met more than convinced her to cancel the self-destruct. No biggie. Turns out, Iona is all fixed up and her connection to Mother is restored. It's time for the Academy's big event, and Blade is basically the unbeatable champion, knocking everyone out with ease. Leonard is feeling extra salty about his inability to even land a hit on Blade, and Maria shares his disappointment mainly because she's also low-key crushing on Blade and wants to be worthy of standing by him. They bond over their shared goal of defeating Blade, which somehow leads to the formation of a suppression committee, a group dedicated to taking down the guy who's just too good at everything. The next day, they go full on sabotage mode. NS charges at Blade with a lance and surprise, she fails miserably. That night, one of the girls sneaks into Blade's room to off him while he's asleep, but Iona is there, so nope. Leonard also gives it a go, destroying yet another lance in the process. Maria tries to sneak up on Blade, but Sophie is always lurking, ready to thwart her. The committee is officially struggling after several failed attempts. The group holds another meeting. Leonard suggests they step up their game by dressing up in ridiculous terrorist masks, invading Blade's classroom, and holding the teacher hostage. Naturally, Blade just sits there completely unbothered while the teacher gets bored and walks away. The terrorist plan is already a bust, so they switch tactics. This time, they hold Ernest hostage and beg Blade to rescue her. Blade's response, why are they holding girls hostage? Are they going to eat them? Apparently, he's cool with that. Leonard's patience is wearing thin and he finally reveals his big plan. He's going to eat the girls. Blade's reaction, he still doesn't give a damn. So Leonard pulls out a sword and puts it to Ernest's throat, thinking this will scare Blade. Blade's solution, casual wind slash, disarms Leonard and somehow strips him of his clothes. Awkward moments. With their terrorist plot thoroughly thwarted, the group, now thoroughly humiliated, tries to jump Blade, but of course, Blade demolishes them all effortlessly. Defeated and embarrassed, the committee vows never to play terrorist again. They hold another meeting later that night to elect a new leader, but shocker, Leonard is still their supreme leader. It's almost Blade's birthday, and Ernest and the crew are on a mission to create the perfect curry dish for him. The king, ever the meddler, pops into their planning session and takes them to a secret royal pantry hidden from commoners. Naturally, the king complicates things by throwing in a bunch of bizarre tasks. Blade is dragged along, clueless about his surprise, and the team sets up camp in the underground pantry, a place that's more like a monster-infested culinary boot camp than a freaking kitchen. Dressed as cave people, the squad starts hunting bunker monsters. Ernest stumbles upon Blade, batting in a pond, and in true rom-com fashion, tries to get cozy while asking about his cars. But when she realizes they are being watched, she bolts like her life depends on it. The next day, the team tackles ingredients gathering madness. This isn't your average grocery list. These ingredients fight back. Corn must be beaten in a boxing match. Sunflowers come equipped with lasers, and carrots, total savages. Somehow, the team manages to gather it all, and the king applauds them. But of course, it's got one last twist. The final ingredient is the king of beats, Behemoth. Behemoth is a monstrous beef substitute on steroids and puts up a brutal fight. Everyone throws their best moves, but the beast barely flinches. When Blade decides to end it with a mega attack, he realizes he doesn't have enough power left. Maria offers her help by making out with him, transfer spiritual energy, fueled up and maybe slightly flustered. Blade teams up with Maria to slice through Behemoth like his pinata. Mission accomplished. Blade collapses from exhaustion. Back on the surface, Blade visits the doctor and is thrilled to learn his power has increased by 3% thanks to healthy eating and exercise because apparently fighting a giant beast counts as cardio. Later, his friends surprise him with the curry dish of his dreams. One bite sends Blade straight to heaven. The king, always dramatic, revokes the no crying rule for men, and Blade lets the tears flow like a proud anime protagonist. Blade calls it the best meal he's ever had, and the group bask in their joy of a job well done. Blade is casually teaching his friends some sword moves at the training ground when Sophie shows up, looking all cute, except she has a sword behind her back and zero chill. She begs to learn, then lunges at Blade like an unhinged ninja. Before she can land a hit, another Sophie, the real Sophie, shows up and blocks the attack. Fake Sophie realizes her villain arc isn't working out and yeets herself out of there. Turns out there's a whole army of Sophie knockoffs running around, all programmed with one mission: terminate Blade. Each clone has her own name and bad attitude. Blade, being Blade, already knows they are out to get him, but couldn't care less. His friends on the other hand, thinks the clones are just Sophie's overly ambitious sisters trying to join the academy. Eventually, the truth clicks for the gang. These Sophies are assassins, not aspiring classmates. Ernest expects Blade to be worried, but is chill as a guy sipping iced tea in a hurricane. Meanwhile, the evil Sophies hold a brainstorming session at their hideout, guided by their mysterious shadowy boss in an attempt to cook up more ridiculous plans to take Blade down. Back at the dorms, the real Sophie goes full bodyguard mode, standing watch to protect her master. When another clone attacks, Sophie takes her down but refuses to kill her, blaming the science experiments life they were forced into. Blade, always a pacifist with a side of 4D chess, tricks one clone into thinking she killed him in a virtual world simulation. When she realizes she's been duped, she loses it, turbocharging her murder mission. Soon, another clone joins the chase, turning it into the widest style game ever. Blade lures the raging Sophies into an ambush where his friends are waiting. The clones retaliate by creating a freaking black hole. The black hole starts sucking everything like a vacuum on steroids. But as things get dire, Sophie arrives and counters it with a black hole of her own. This, of course, leaves Sophie passed out from sheer exhaustion. Blade rushes her to the hospital and stays by her side until she wakes up. He thanks her for saving everyone, but Sophie hits him with some tragic backstory. All the clones, including her, were created to surpass the legendary hero. Sophie got lucky when the king saved her, but her knockoff sisters, not so much. Blade suggests enrolling them in the academy for more redemption, but Sophie shuts her down, explaining that they are hardwired to kill him. There's no escape from their one-track programming. Seeing Sophie in so much pain, Blade gives her a comforting hug, silently agreeing that the whole situation sucks. That night, Sophie packs her bags and leaves the academy, determined to hunt down her rogue clones all by herself. Blade and the gang wake up to find Sophie has pulled a Batman and vanished into the night to hunt down her murder-happy clones. The squad, being the lovable dummies they are, rush to the king for answers. The king tries to play it cool, but Blade sees right through him. This guy actually cares. He spills the tea. Sophie left to take out her clones solo, so her friends wouldn't have to dirty their hands. Classic lone wolf move. Blade naturally decides nobody gets to have a dramatic solo mission without him. By sunrise, he's ready to leave, only to find his friends at the gates like, "We are coming too, dude." Heartwarming moment. The team sets off on a mission, but when they catch up to Sophie, she hits them with a tragic backstory. Turns out, she and her clones were created for one thing, offing Blade. But her squad is too thick-headed to connect the dots that Blade is the great hero everyone is after. Blade is low-key chilled, he doesn't have to explain. Sophie gets all sacrificial, saying she's fine, dying even if it means her friends are happy. Ernest isn't having it and smacks some sense into her. Blade is like, "Dying? Nah, we are saving everybody, even the evil clones." The team rallies behind his reckless optimism, and Eliza, the resident genius, assures them he will figure it out. Blade sends the clones a formal invitation to fight, like it's a tea party, and the clones, suspicious but curious, show up. The fight is chaotic. Blade is outnumbered, but holding his own with power vials. The team smuggles to him like performance enhancing potions. Just when things look grim, Sophie jumps in with a boost. Blade goes full anime protagonist, unleashing a giant blast that finally puts the clone on pause. But then the lead clone drops the ultimate bomber. They are dying at sunset because their creator was an amateur with zero quality control. The guy is dead too, so no refunds. Blade begs for a solution, but even Eliza and the healer are stumped. Sophie, however, has a big brain moment. What if we match their souls with mine? The clones initially resistant and eventually convinced there's more to life than failed assassination attempts. With Blade's help, they funnel their souls into Sophie, who now becomes a one-woman hive mind. Blade passes out from exhaustion after this. When Blade wakes up, Sophie's there, but also kinda not. She's now six people in one and she's excited about it. Congrats, Blade. You've got six kids to deal with. Blade, as usual, just rolls with it. In the final scenes, Blade casually obliterates a massive beat that has been tormenting the team, reminding everyone why he's the great hero, though most of them are still too oblivious to notice. And that's a wrap. Folks, remember, like, subscribe, and drop your anime request in the comments. Until next time, stay awesome.